Good morning. My name is Kevin Burt. I'm with the Department of Workforce Services Unemployment Insurance Division. And today we are doing a briefing that will discuss Utah's unemployment insurance claims from September 27th through October 3rd. Following my review of the numbers as well as answering any questions, we're going to also introduce Nate McDonald, the Communications Director, to be able to discuss some of the job market that is available in Utah and some information there. So first, though, diving into some of the unemployment claims, again, this is for the week ending October 3rd. We ended with 4,574 new claims. Now, last week, that number was 4,458, so it's nearly identical the last week versus 2 weeks ago. It's up slightly, 2.711%, but overall, over the last month, new claims have been around 4,500 per week. I mean, it's obviously very clear that the pandemic continues to be incredibly disruptive to employment. 4,500, again, is down compared to the historic highs that we saw in early April, where we had 1 week of 33,000 claims. But for historical context, during the Great Recession, which was in 2009, the most claims that we received in a single week was around 5,000. So to still have 4,500 new claims after 29 weeks of this pandemic, it's very clear that people continue to see disruption to employment. COVID-19 continues to be disruptive, and we're continuing to see an incredible amount of people that are applying for and needing the unemployment assistance. Traditional unemployment is down 5.5% for the week. Pandemic is also down 8.2%. Extended, though, which is remember, pandemic, I failed to mention, so the traditional benefit is the state-funded benefit. That is down. Pandemic is the self-employed gig worker. Federally funded program, that's also down. The extended benefits is for those that exhaust their claim to the state benefit. With the CARES Act, a 13-week extended benefit, federally funded extended benefit became available. That one is up 5.711%. And that is an indication that we are past 6 months into this pandemic. As I mentioned, this is 29 weeks. The max number of claims an individual can receive with the state benefit is 26 weeks. So we are starting to see the new claims go down for the traditional, but a lot of people transitioning into that extended benefit and in nearing that exhaustion. So it's really important as a reminder that the unemployment benefit is not income-based. It certainly has its limitations, and it is time-limited. And that's one of the reasons why we're going to have Nate speak later about some economic conditions and economic opportunities, because some stability has to be found in employment, because that unemployment benefit is not going to last through the length of this pandemic. Continued claims is down for 22 consecutive weeks. Ended the week last week with 40,390. Overall, that is down 8.711% from the previous week. But again, it's still 5 to 6 times higher than the average number of continued claims that we took in 2019. The traditional state benefit continued claims is down 9.3%. A pandemic is down 4.5%, and even the extended benefit when it came to continued claims is also down. So far to date, we've taken nearly 315,000 claims, and we've paid out a little over $1.5 billion in unemployment benefits since March 15th, 2020. And with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to any questions. Okay, so question is about the pandemic unemployment assistance and individuals that are filing a continued claim, potentially losing eligibility. They see a resurgence of COVID-19 that is disruptive. What steps can they take? Now, it's really critical to understand the pandemic unemployment assistance is fully federally funded. 100% of it is federally funded through the CARES Act. So the rules of the program are fully federally mandated. And so what we have to do is follow the guidelines as provided by the Federal Department of Labor on how to administer the pandemic unemployment assistance. A pandemic unemployment assistance, for a little bit of historical context, is an unemployment assistance program for those that are traditionally not eligible for unemployment. When you are an employee and you work for an employer, you're considered a covered employee. That employer pays a tax, an unemployment insurance tax. That tax is deposited into a trust fund and made available to pay a claim to an individual who's laid off through no fault of their own. An individual who's self-employed, an independent contractor, a gig worker, does not have that employer-employee relationship. So no one has paid a tax to deposit into that trust fund to pay out unemployment benefits. And so this is a temporary federally funded program that provides unemployment assistance to individuals who fit that category, and this is critical, are unemployed as a direct result of the pandemic. And so individuals that file for the pandemic unemployment assistance and also file a continued claim are asked very detailed question of, are you unemployed because of this? Does this criteria fit your situation? Does this criteria fit your situation? And those are outlined by the Department of Labor as the only criteria that makes an individual eligible for the pandemic unemployment assistance. So if an individual is filing a continued claim, has returned to work, but business perhaps maybe is slower than it was in 2019, they're not unemployed as a direct result of the pandemic. And so they have to answer those questions honestly. And if all of the answers are no, they're going to be found ineligible for pandemic unemployment assistance according to the federal guidelines. Now, there is a unique situation that was asked in this question. What happens if I return to work? I've stopped filing because I'm no longer unemployed because of the pandemic. My business, though, now has an outbreak, or there are COVID-19 cases, so I have to shut it down again. That is, again, now an individual that is unemployed as a direct result of the pandemic, and in that case, that person should file a new claim for pandemic unemployment assistance. But if an individual returns to work, everything's going well, business is good for a month, but then it's a slow month, there is no, it's not unemployed as a direct result of the pandemic, and an individual is likely ineligible. Again, the pandemic unemployment assistance is a temporary program to help individuals who are unemployed as a direct result of the pandemic until they're able to reopen their business and those restrictions are lifted. And so it certainly does have its limitations as well. So the question was, okay, do you see the continued claims? It's something that we do talk about with the continued claims dropping every week for 22 consecutive weeks. And the question is, okay, well, if you have that dropping, is it because people are returning to work, or is it because people are exhausting the benefit? As I mentioned, the benefit is time limited. So it is going to be a little bit of a mixed message, Melissa, but it's both. It's individuals returning to work. So what we did is we've been tracking how many people fell off of the benefit for 2 consecutive weeks. And we kind of said, okay, well, of those, how many people exhausted their benefit? And the answer for the week that we looked at was 25% were exhausted, but 75% simply fell off, hopefully with the returning to work. But will that exhaustion rate grow if individuals continue to stay on the unemployment benefit? And the answer is yes, unfortunately. Unemployment benefits, again, is time limited. And right now, it doesn't appear there's going to be any extension to that other than the initial 13 weeks. So an individual can receive up to 26 weeks on the unemployment benefit and the 13-week extended, and pandemic is limited to the 39 weeks. And the best option is to, if you are working in an industry or worked in an industry that is absolutely struggling returning, the best option is to look for employment in an industry that has proven to thrive or grow or be resilient in this pandemic, as this pandemic, again, continues to be incredibly disruptive, but some industries and some economic activities absolutely occurring and people are returning to work. Okay. Another question is, okay, do we expect unemployment claims to spike as recent news of an additional stimulus benefit seems like it's unlikely prior to the election, as well as the airline industry appearing that it's going to have to lay off a significant number of people? And I think the answer is yes, we probably will see and experience a spike in claims. When a large industry experiences a mass amount of layoffs, it does result in a significant number of claims. The only thing that we don't know is how many people have been furloughed prior to, and it's now just a switch of classification from an airline employee that was furloughed and now is a layoff. If the individual was furloughed, they are likely already on unemployment assistance, and there is no need to file a new claim. It's just a matter of now recognizing that, okay, I'm not going to be able to return to where I was working. I need to actively look for work, which is something that we have been communicating, that there are some industries that it just, if it's been 6 months and you haven't successfully returned to where you were working, the unemployment will not ride past this, the length of this pandemic, and so individuals should be looking. So it's probably we are going to see an increase in claims. The other thing to keep in mind with unemployment, there is a seasonality to it. Unemployment has Utah has a strong winter season, and that results in temporary layoffs as well, or temporary furloughs in the construction industry and other tourist industries that rely on warm weather. And so every winter we also see an increase in claims. So we do expect. We would have expected outside of this pandemic an increase in claims in the winter season, but that will add to the demand as well, that winter season and the layoffs that result from the airline industry. Okay, and with that, we'll go ahead and end the portion of the unemployment claims, but I'll introduce again Nate McDonald, the Director of Communications, to kind of walk through some economic opportunities that are available in today's economy.
Thank you, Kevin. Again, my name is Nate McDonald with the Department of Workforce Services. Last week, we announced the Utah Job Support and the new Hot Jobs web portal that's available on jobs.utah.gov. Our intent in this campaign and the efforts to help educate people of where there are current opportunities for jobs, it really boils down to we don't want anyone to be stuck where they're in a situation where they do not have benefits and they do not have a job. We want to do everything we can to help connect people to where there are jobs available right now. And that's the effort of this campaign. And we want to be able to continue to provide updates and provide information to help connect people to where those opportunities are. Let me just provide a brief snapshot. If you go to jobs.utah.gov, on our main page, you can click on a button for our Hot Jobs web portal. And essentially, these are the hottest jobs available. These are jobs that we have worked with industry reps where we know these industries have job growth, that there are jobs becoming available in these industries. This includes information technology, finance and banking, construction, health, manufacturing, the life sciences, advanced manufacturing, and then we pulled from our workforce research and analysis team to ask them to just find the other jobs that we're seeing that are hot in other sectors, and we are identifying those as well. Right now, through this Hot Jobs web portal, we have over 1,300 jobs identified. The industry groups have identified the hottest jobs that they're hiring for right now. We've identified those top 5. We identified the employers that are in those fields that are hiring, and these are the jobs that are being posted right now on our jobs.utah.gov job board. We have over 1,300 that we are considering as hot jobs hiring right now. But that doesn't include everything. There are a lot more. We have more than 32,000 jobs posted with our jobs board on jobs.utah.gov. So there are jobs available right now. We recognize, though, that this may be challenging for individuals where their industry has not bounced back yet, and there's been a significant hit to their previous employment, and they have not been able to find work in their previous line of career that they were in before. We know that is challenging and know that it's hard to recognize that you might have to start looking in a new field, in a new area, in a new industry. But that is our message that we're going to continue to push out, that is better than being unemployed with no benefits. So we encourage you that even if you are in that situation where you cannot find a job in your previous line of work, to start looking in a different industry, one of these that we've highlighted where there are jobs. It just may be something different that you have to do. It might just be even a temporary opportunity that you do until your previous work bounces back. We know that there are impacts to certain industries where it may take more time. We mentioned earlier about the airline industry. We know that there are challenges in the event industry and arts industries. And there may be some temporary solutions out there with temporary jobs that you can get to fill the gap until you're able to return back to that previous work. Let me just highlight a few of those key jobs that we're seeing that we've identified as hot jobs right now. Right now, the health industry, as you can imagine, it has a lot of openings. We've identified 455 job postings right now that are in the Hot Job web portal. These, as you can imagine, we are in need of registered nurses. We're in need of CNAs right now. CNAs, we have short-term training programs that are available through all of our tech colleges and other programs, but there is a desperate need for CNAs right now. This may be a great opportunity for someone to take a short-term training program and get into the health industry in that aspect. Health technicians, clinical case manager, and also medical secretaries. Finance and banking, there are over 180 postings right now in finance and banking for branch operators, compliance, IT and cybersecurity, lending, and then in banking and finance operations. We know that advanced manufacturing, there are some advanced manufacturers that are booming right now because of contracts with military and defense, or other industries that are in great need right now. And so in advanced manufacturing, we have mechanical engineers are in need, welders, cutters, aerospace engineers, production and operation workers, and software developers. And there's over 144 openings right now in advanced manufacturing. In our other section, so that don't fit in any of those industries, we have production workers, warehouses, sales, customer service. These are jobs that we're seeing a lot of growth in the retail, warehouse, and distribution line of work. And those have just there are just a lot of jobs available right now in those areas. So we encourage people to start looking, look harder, don't give up. We know that there are some who will respond saying, I have been working, and our message is just to continue looking. Use this tool to help identify and know where there are jobs hiring right now and just keep on going. We will have a virtual job fair at the end of this month with more details to come on that. The last thing I wanted just to provide you information on from our economic response team is we've also heard from small businesses that have 50 or fewer employees that the challenge is great when someone has to quarantine. And with small businesses, it's hard to pay people when they have to quarantine. If they're not working, it's hard to pay them. There are some federal programs for larger businesses, but there aren't as many for the smaller businesses. So we want to encourage you right now, the state of Utah, we are funding through CARES Act a small business quarantine grant program where an employer can seek reimbursement for paying wages for an employee who needs to quarantine or isolate as a result of a exposure or positive test. So this is a program out there for small businesses. I encourage you to go to coronavirus.utah.gov/business. That's our business page where there are a number of resources and tools, and you'll see the button for this grant program. With that, I don't know if any questions that come in for me. Thank you. So again, we just encourage everyone. The question is where is the best place to find this information? Go to jobs.utah.gov. You'll see on our homepage a button for our Hot Jobs web portal. Click on that button. Go through those industries. Look at who's hiring. Look at the employers that are listed that are hiring in those areas. And then again, we encourage any employer who has job needs to also contact us. They can reach out. We have workforce development specialists who can work with them and help them get their jobs posted on our website and take advantage of those that are in need right now looking for employment. And with that, we will end our briefing for today. Thank you very much.